So one of the standard meditations that's recommended in Theravada, both in the suttas, you find it, in the commentaries, and contemporary teachers teach various ways of contemplating the elements. There's this topic of the 4 elements, or 5 or 6 elements that are mentioned in the suttas. They are called dhatu in Pali, and there are different ways of doing this meditation. And if you just look at the actual suttas, the early teachings of the Buddha, it's a fairly straightforward exercise where one focuses on these primary qualities like hardness and softness, or warmth and heat, or some kind of motion or space in the body, qualities that are immediately accessible to us when we just close our eyes, focus on our body. And then what the Buddha advises us to do is to compare these internal qualities, like the earth element, say, with external earth element, which is all around us, in order to realize that both the internal one and the external one are just that, not more than that, just earth element. They share the same primary qualities, and although the internal elements are, as he says, kind of taken up by, you could say, the past karma or something. When we are born, this particular body, the biological organism, is made up of these 4 elements, but it needs consciousness as an additional one to make it into a living organism. But the exercise is just simply that, just comparing the two and focusing on the same shared qualities between the internal and the external one, and realizing that this is not me, this is not mine, this is not myself. I'm not the owner or the controller. I can't really control these things according to my wishes. If we go into more complicated methods, sometimes they are taught in ways that are a little bit more complicated than this. For example, we may want to go into kind of more depth and take a kind of atomistic approach to this. We may adopt a view that contemplating the elements means sort of zooming in, using a very powerful, say like a microscope, and using our meditation, our strengthening our mind to such a degree that we can sort of penetrate to the inner structure of the physical universe and focus on the, like you could say, atoms and molecules in our bodies, or the chemical elements like oxygen and hydrogen and calcium. Both of these approaches, which are based on you could say a certain level of abstraction, you have some abstract view of what physical reality is really composed of, below the level of our perception, and then you want to find it in your meditation. Well, you may have some success actually with that sort of practice, but it's doubtful whether this is actually meditating on the 4 elements as the Buddha advised us to do. It may be more an exercise in visualization. If you've developed a certain strength of mind with powerful concentration and a refined mind, you may be able to visualize, say, molecules and atoms in the body, or elements based on the things you've learned at school, and then you may actually even see these things. But this is something that we have to be careful about, and that we really know what we are doing when we practice the meditation on the elements.